today's show, we're going to take a few calls. We're going to have ex-social worker from Riverside County, Terry Greenstein, who's coming in, or who'll be calling in to talk to us some more about what you should do and not do when you're dealing with social workers. And before we get into that, I'm going to be talking about a couple of things that happened in the past couple of weeks for me with some juvenile dependency cases. Today I'm giving a training after the show to some attorneys in my office, and so what I want to do is give you a preview of that training so that you may also use that when you're dealing with social workers. The first thing that I'm going to talk about is what we call the investigative matters. That's when a social worker gets involved in your life before there is an actual court case. So usually cases start in this manner. They're called child abuse referrals in California anyway, and in most states. There's something called mandated reporters. So mandated reporters is defined in the California Penal Code, section 1165.7. Examples of mandated reporters are school personnel, healthcare professionals, that means doctors and nurses, psychiatrists, psychologists, licensed clinical social workers, and those are all covered under the umbrella of the mental health professionals. If you look at Penal Code 1165.7, there are over 46 categories of people who are mandated reporters in California. So what's a mandated reporter? A mandated reporter is anyone that sees or hears or believes that there has been child abuse or there is child abuse occurring. Usually in the first stage, this child social worker contacts the parent. And usually no one's home. They come out in the middle of the day when everybody's at work, and they leave a business card. Sometimes the social worker has already spoken to one or both of the parents, or even has gone to the child's school. Now, right now, I think they're trying to determine whether a social worker going to the child's school without the parents' permission is even legal or constitutional. Usually, the social worker comes over and you speak to the social worker, and the social worker usually wants to come into the home, do interviews, and do a home inspection. Now, I want to stop for a second. It is my general recommendations that you never speak to a social worker, at least without your attorney present. So you want to probably third party it. And that, you tell the social worker, hey, I'd love to talk to you, but I can't. I need to have my attorney present. That's what he or she has told me in the past. And I'll have my attorney contact you and set up an interview or a, inspection of my home. Social workers can get warrants, but we're going to talk a little bit about that later. Sometimes a social worker has already implemented a safety plan, and the parents have entered into a voluntary maintenance contract. They call it a VFM with the social worker, and usually in that case, no real juvenile court cases filed in the Superior Court. Social workers have checklists, and usually the social worker goes through his or her checklist and decides to A, close the referral as either unfounded, inconclusive, or substantiated. Sometimes the social worker will make a decision to file a petition with the court in the Superior Court of California. So the question becomes, what should you do first? Well, you have to write down, type out the facts surrounding the referral. So immediately upon your contact with a social worker, it is my opinion you should contact an attorney that practices in this area. And I don't mean a criminal attorney, I don't mean a family law attorney that does divorce and child custody. I mean a juvenile dependency case attorney, a CPS attorney, Child Protective Services defense attorney. And if you want to help that attorney and help yourself, write down all of the information that you need to present the facts. Many times clients come to talk to me and we have, an hour meeting. And inevitably, the client forgets, just because it's human nature, to tell me everything that has happened. That's why I stress people to write down all of the facts, type them out. And by the way, that one exercise is going to take a few to several hours, but it's well worth it. Now, my office has developed a questionnaire to help assist in preparing and dealing with social workers. So if you want a copy of that questionnaire, just give me a call at 888-888-6582, or you can email me at v.davis@vincentwdavis.com. The social worker is going to continue to try to contact you, even if you tell the social worker you have an attorney. So please make sure that you don't speak to the social worker, text with the social worker, or email with the social worker until and unless you've talked to an attorney and or the attorney can be present. Sometimes people call me and the social worker's at the door. And this is the first time we've talked, and the social worker is told that I'm going to be on the phone, on the speakerphone, trying to represent the clients. So that's how extremely important this is. I want you to think about this. If someone has reported you for suspected child abuse or child abuse, the social worker hasn't actually seen or talked to you. The social worker doesn't have evidence to take your children. The social worker will get evidence if he or she talks to you and you give them the evidence of what has happened or what has gone on. That is why I tell people, don't talk to social workers. A lot of people believe they can out-talk, out-think, and talk their way out of anything. Let me tell you, after 31 years of practicing law this December, I've had, thousands of clients who have told me, I thought I could talk my way out of it, basically. You can't. They are there for one purpose, and that purpose is to gather information against you in case they want to start a voluntary case or start a court case. Now, I should warn you, when you talk to social workers, whatever you tell a social worker can be used by the police authorities against you in a criminal case. The social worker can come to court and say, well, I spoke to mom or I spoke to dad and they said blah, blah, blah. And you were thinking that you were talking the social worker out from taking your children, when in actuality he or she was gathering evidence against you.